speaking of the bad stuff, the Butcher Baker and the Candlestick Maker teamed up with the Lucha Brothers to face Adam Page, Kenny Olivier, and the Young Fucks. And in an 8-man tag. And here we go. This wasn't a minute old before the Bucks and Olivier and the Lucha Brothers were running and diving and flipping, and all 8 of them in the ring, and you couldn't tell who was taking the move and who was giving the move, and doing the backslap tags. And then they go through the break, and they come back and have more scrambled eggs. Adam Page must have felt like Oliver Douglas on a set of Green Acres in the middle of these 7 other fuckers. Like, has the whole world gone mad, and it's just me now? At one point, they did a deal where Matt Jackson tagged Olivier. Olivier went up to the top rope, but the Lucha brother wandered off and left him up there. So the Buck went after him, and then they went into another spot. And then Olivier came back in because 30 seconds later, he came on in since he'd been tagged 30 seconds beforehand. And the heel shit on the faces was more spectacular than the baby faces stuff to begin with, so they've completely reversed roles. There was awkward heat on Olivier because he doesn't know how to sell realistically. Everybody was tagging in and out. I saw the coldest iceberg tags in this match where the guy's hand should have fell off from frostbite because nobody can do a hot tag and they couldn't get any heat up. Page did his backflip off the top rope to the floor again on all 4 of his catchers and hit it perfectly. And
that was awful. I hated that because that was one of those times you can clearly see everyone gather together. Like, hold on, come on, yeah. Everyone over here. Let's do a chorus line. Let's wait for him to jump on us. I hate that.
But if people are, well, why does he hate that? It's so athletic. I hate it because it's so fucking good that if he didn't do it every week, people would think, wow. But since he does it every single match and never misses it and never hurts himself or anybody else and never wins anything with it, then it looks like it's goddamn easy. That's the point. Don't do these things every single match. Then, there was a spot where Page tagged Olivier, and Olivier steps in the ring and tags one of the young Bucks immediately before he's made any contact or done anything. Now, I don't expect them to know the rules of wrestling, but another one of the rules of wrestling where if you get tagged in a tag match, you have to make contact with your opponent before you can tag out. Everybody fucking knows that, except these jackoffs. But then, the way they did this, Page tagged Olivier. Olivier stepped in and tagged a Buck. Then the Buck tagged the other Buck. So apparently now they can all be in the ring at the same time. And all the heels just jumped in and they started hitting moves over and over until it was a complete fucking mess. Right in front of the referee, who's totally impotent. And then their storyline was that Page wouldn't tag the Bucks because he didn't want, Olivier's his partner, he didn't want to tag the Bucks, and then the Lucha Brothers hit Page with a double team and pinned him 1, 2, 3. So it was his fault they lost the match because he wouldn't tag the fucking Bucks. They've buried Adam Page. They have buried Adam Page. He cannot prosper being involved with these wimpy baby faces and klutzy heels in this, and of course, somebody on the spectrum like Uncle Dave will go, well, that's telling the story. Well, I don't care about their story after they've had a match like this. I wrote down, so glad this was over. That's my response to that. Not, oh, Page fucked up by not, if they'd have had a match that made sense and then they'd have done the spot where Page wouldn't tag the fucking Bucks and he lost because of it, that might be something. But after that mess, everybody was just glad to get the fuck rid of it.
I don't think they buried Adam Page just because I think the match really doesn't matter so much. It's just move. But they've gotten him over as being this drunk that you can't really count on, that he's kind of out for himself. So he's actually more over now than when he first got there.
Well, but now what's over?
With their fans.
He's got more attention now, but now, instead of being badass, beer-drinking, stone-cold Steve Austin, he's irresponsible, drunk that you can't count on.
Yeah. I think a lot of those
fans... I'm glad we cleared that up.
I think a lot of those fans can relate to that character, maybe.
Well, then in that case, put the fans in the ring. I forgot they are already. But if the guy in the ring is no better than the guy in the fucking seat, why am I paying to see him?
I'll give a positive. The shorter Buck, Matt Buck, is it Matt?
Yes. Well, he's the pie-faced one.
I thought he had good facial expressions with his frustration with Adam Page. He
was probably thinking about just his frustration about ever growing to become an adult.
I don't know, but I thought, again, there's a lot of stuff happening, but at least that in terms of storyline, he did a good job of expressing it facially while everyone else was diving all over the place.
All right, well then explain to me what happened next. When Olivier stays in the ring, Tony Schiavone gets up there, he's going to interview Olivier, and here's your top babyface's chance to cut a real good promo and get over with the people and then be interrupted by a heel. But since that's not in Olivier's fucking capabilities of doing a good promo where he sounds like a fucking guy who you say something, he means it, and he fucking has some bass in his voice, he's a simpering little twit. So instead, they just shut him up before he ever opened his mouth. Tony taps his earpiece. Wait a minute, there's something going on. Explain this to me. They look in the back, and there on the stage, on the entrance stage, is the new girl interviewer with Pac.
Well, not on the stage. I think they were backstage.
I thought they were underneath the screen in the entranceway.
If they were, I'm wrong. I thought they were backstage. That was the
well, they're somewhere, and he's looking at them on the screen. But anyway, explain to me, there's Riho, and Pac is saying to Kenny Olivier, well, I guess you didn't care about Nakazawa because, Nakazawa is Olivier's friend, supposedly, the guy that pours baby oil all over his body. Maybe he's like those guys that used to get into business because they were the fucking supplier of something for the boys. Well, Nakazawa is getting in the ring or getting into business because he's Kenny Omega's baby oil supplier. But anyway, he said, you don't care about Nakazawa, so maybe you care about Riho, intimating that he's going to do something to fucking Riho unless Omega gives him a match. Now, the problem is there is Riho standing there with her little girl's championship belt on her shoulder with a scared schoolgirl look on her face, 5 feet away from Pac, unrestrained, not tied down. He didn't have a fucking hand on her. And I'm thinking, you know what? If he's threatening her and she looks so scared, the thought might strike her that she should turn around and run away because nobody's stopping her. But she didn't. And then, like a fucking gutless pussy, instead of saying, tell you what, Pac, you bastard, you want a match? I'm not scared of you. I'll fight you, but you touch that girl. You touch one hair on her head, and I will make you curse your mother for the day she gave birth to you. No, he just says, oh, okay, I'll take it. Don't do anything. I'll take it. Because his balls had shriveled up to where you couldn't find them with the Hubble telescope. And everybody is saying the same thing that's watching this on TV to Riho. Run away. But she didn't, because it was fake. And then once Olivier accepts the match against this guy that looks like he could fucking kill anybody, Pac, what a fucking badass looking guy he is. Then Pac says, well, I wouldn't harm a girl. Well, okay, now the heel's just got some fucking heat, and I said, but I'm still a nice guy. I mean, he should have said, I would have broke her in fucking half. But instead, he said, well, I wouldn't hurt a girl, but she will, and here comes Nyla Rose, boom, nails fucking Riho from behind and power bombs her on a table, which didn't fucking break because Riho does not have the body mass to be thrown from 6 feet in the air onto a table and break it. And boy, when those tables don't break, that jarred that little girl up real good, I'm sure. This whole thing was more garbage than I can possibly fucking convey to you in English words.
I agree, although I will say that going to my thesis that I really like the serious tone stuff on the show, I wish Pac was used with someone. Again, mixing him up in this, I thought was how many weeks is Kenny Omega going to be in the ring about to get on the microphone when Pac shows up in the back and does something? This is the third time it's happened.
Well, hopefully all the time, because the alternative is we have to listen to his fucking whiny little voice. But anyway, and now people are saying, well, you said this show was better than fucking NXT. Well,
that says a lot about NXT.
Yeah, we'll get to it in a minute.